to try to sit with your legs folded back. Now I know some of you, when you do that, even with 2 blocks, that won't work for you. Just, it's not possible with your knees. So that's fine. You can sit in a chair or you can sit in a different orientation with your legs if that's not possible. But oftentimes what I find when I'm with people in person is that if I just give them enough stuff to sit on, whether that means pillows and more things just to make it taller and taller, they're usually able to make it happen. Even on a stool can work. All right. So just get in there if you can. And if you don't need as much support, you can take it away, of course, and be lower. You don't have to use two of blocks or anything else. All right. So once you get to a position that it does not feel painful in the knees and where you can sit with your spine in a neutral position, just notice if you need a rolled up washcloth or towel below the front of your ankles, because that might also be something that is challenging in this position. And don't force anything, okay? So don't make anything painful for yourself. And as you settle in and find that place, begin with where your body is making contact with the floor, just paying attention to that area. And where you're touching your props below your hips, where your arms are resting. Feel for relaxing around your jaw and your shoulders and your neck. And then on your next breath in, let's breathe in and try to feel a 360-degree widening through the torso. And then as you exhale, you could blow out slowly out through pursed lips. And then repeat that a couple of times. So as you inhale, you're inhaling and trying to feel like your torso or in your rib cage specifically is opening up like an umbrella. And then a long exhale. And you can always shift to breathing out through your nose. All right. Now let's switch leg positions. So if you've been sitting with your legs folded back, could come forward and remove your block or your pillows and come into a cross-legged seat, or it might be with legs straight or one leg out, okay? So anything that works, again, for your body. Might feel a little bit better to prop up your hips on a blanket here, like so, or even a block, okay? And then from here, you're gonna interlace the hands, okay? Inhale with the hands in front of the chest. And then as you exhale, we're going to turn the palms forward and stretch the arms forward as long as that doesn't bother your shoulder. And tuck your chin down. And then inhale, come back in. Palms to chest, chest lifts. And exhale, stretch it forward. Again. You can round the spine as you stretch forward. Okay, again. Good, and let the arms go. Exhale. Okay, now this next part, those of you with shoulder injuries, you're not going to be taking the arms above the head, but if you're not shoulder injured. You'll inhale, stretch the arms up. Okay, and exhale, bend at the elbows and hold the opposite wrist or elbow. Please don't go into any pain, okay? So if it's painful, you're gonna keep the arm down. And inhale here, and then exhale, little side bend. So if your arms are down, you would just do it like this. You just lean like this. And then inhale back to center. And exhale, lean the other way. Good. Inhale, center. Exhale, lean. Good. Inhale, center. Exhale, lean. Good. Inhale, center. And exhale, let's bring the arms, if you can stretch them out to the side, stretch them way out and bring them down. Good. And now from here, let's inhale up tall in the center, getting long through your neck. And as you exhale, it's going to bring the back of the head back to line up with your upper back. Good. Then inhale, stay here, get really tall through the top of your head. And then exhale, lean one ear down to the side. Just noticing how that feels, and inhale back up to center. And exhale, lean down to the other side. Good. Inhale, center. Exhale, lean. You're just noticing how your neck feels. Inhale, center. Exhale, lean. Good. Inhale, center. Good. And then exhale there. Inhale, squeeze your shoulders up. Exhale, let them just fall. Inhale, up. Exhale, fall. Let's do a few more of those. Squeeze up on your inhale and drop on your exhale. Good. And you can always switch your leg position. Okay, now we'll inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and exhale, release. Inhale, squeeze. And notice if your head has migrated forward, just keeping that back of your head lined up with your upper back. Good. Again. Good. Okay, now from here, we're going to inhale and just start to take your eyes and your chin upward any amount. And then exhale, bring your eyes and your chin down towards your chest any amount. So just going slowly, noticing how the neck feels again. Good. And then let's come back to the center. Good. Now inhale up in the center. Again, back of head aligned. And exhale. Now we're going to turn the head to one side. Notice how that feels. And inhale back to center. And then exhale, turn to the other side. Notice the different side to side, back to center. Repeat. Good. Then back to center. Imagine you've got like a pen on the end of your nose. You're going to start at the center dot and make a spiral. So you'll start going around, and you can, each time you circle the head around, you just keep breathing and get a little wider with your circles to the point that it's okay for your own neck. And then when you get to your widest circle for your neck, let's reverse the direction. And now every time you circle around, you're going to go inside that last circle. So you're spiraling toward the center, nice and slowly and smoothly. Until you get right back in the center. And then just notice Once you get there, how your shoulders are doing. Take a wide breath in, inhale, and exhale. All right, let's take hands behind the head as long as that doesn't bother your shoulders. And we're going to tuck your chin downward so that you're making a double chin, but you're not tilting the chin down like we did before. You're not taking the chin down like this. Instead, you're going directly back and putting your head, and you could even put your head against a piece of furniture or the wall too, drawing it straight back. So the back of your neck is getting really long. And breathe there, putting pressure into the back of your head with your hands, and also hands into head or head into hands. Good. Another breath there, making a double chin. Good. And release down. All right, now I'm going to be turning your head to the right in a moment. So you're going to put your right hand against the side of your head. So just so you can apply pressure. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to turn because of the pressure, but it's like I'm trying to turn my head like this to look over my right shoulder, but I'm not actually moving. Okay, keep breathing. Good, and release. And then we're going to do the same thing with the left hand on the left side. So it's like you're trying to turn your head like this, but you're not going to let it go. You're going to put the pressure against the side of your head whenever you're ready. So you guys, your nose should be pointing straight forward. Your nose should be lined up with your sternum. Yeah. So there's no movement at all. It's an isometric thing. Okay. And release. Good. Let's inhale, roll the shoulders up. Exhale, take them down your back. Okay, now we're going to take your head down to the right. Okay. Now I'm going to put my right hand on, but I'm not going to pull my head down, okay? I'm just placing it there. Okay? And in fact, I'm going to feel like I'm trying to do this, bring my head back to center, right? But I'm not going to let it go. So I'm going to keep it there, but I'm trying to push my head back to center without letting it go. Good, and release back up to the center, and then the same thing on the other side. So I'll lean my head down to the left, take my left hand to the side, to the right side of my head, and pushing, trying to push my head back to center, but my hand isn't letting that happen. Good, I'm breathing. And release. Good, and then inhale, roll the shoulders up. Good, and exhale, take them down your back. All right, let's come on to hands and knees. You can pad your knees with your blanket if you'd like. I'm just going to do some cats and cows. Good, really pressing down through all your fingertips so you feel your hands. You're going to inhale, tilt the tail up, move out through your spine, and let's bring the chin forward any amount, but do that last. And then exhale, let's move the tail first and begin to tuck it under. And you can take more than one breath if necessary. You're going to come all the way into your cat position, the head coming down last. Now you're going to keep that head down, and as you begin your inhale, slowly tilting the tail toward the ceiling and rolling up the spine, one vertebra at a time. And your head comes forward last. Good. All right, now as you exhale, let's take the arms forward. Now, if you're injured in the shoulders, you're just going to prop your head like so, okay, in a puppy dog like this. But if you're not, you're going to stretch those arms forward with your head coming down between the arms. And take a few breaths there, getting a big shoulder opening with your neck in neutral. As you inhale, feeling the width of your rib cage expanding. Long exhale. And again. All right, let's bring the hands back by the head and just press yourself back up. I'm going to need your blocks now. If we'll just use one to start, okay? If you don't have a block, you can find something else that might work. A roller, like a foam roller, could work really well. We're going to come onto our backs and going to line up so that the back of your head is on the block and the front edge of the block is just where your head meets your neck, and just slowly rocking it side to side, getting a little bit of a massage in there. And you can find, and we're doing some various just neck mobilizing activities here, and there are many of these on the video library, so you can find more specific and all sorts of different exercises as well that we've done over the past few years. So feel free to explore there. You'll find them listed under the neck categories in each amount of each category of length. Okay, good. And you can move, we've done this with the balls a lot in the past. I really like this with the foam roller as well. But you can move the block around to try to find different spots. Try to relax through your jaw. Now, let's take your hands behind your head if it's okay on your shoulders. And you're going to take the chin a little bit downward, but it's more like a double chin. In this position, it's not flat. Like sometimes we do this from the floor, right? But coming off the block, you'll already be a little tilted. And then see if you can really push the back of your head towards your hands. And then if you can, let go with your hands and keep this strong engagement in the neck flexors and look between your legs. Engage the whole front of the core here. And then relax back to the block, resting the head, resting your jaw. Take a breath in and a breath out. All right, we're going to roll to your side and press yourself up. And come onto hands and knees. You can always pad those knees again if you'd like. I'm going to tuck my toes under, just stretch out the feet a little bit. So I'm going to sit back toward the feet. You might need something behind your knees, like a pillow or a blanket. You might also be able to come up and put more weight on the toes. My toes are tucked under. It just depends on your knees and your feet. Okay, so you can do this any amount. Just stretching into toe extension and dorsiflexion of the ankle. Okay, and now let's lift the knees off the floor and walk your hands back, bear get up, and stand all the way up as you're ready. Good, and once you get there, let's inhale and stretch your arms up toward the ceiling. And exhale, arms out to the sides and down. All right, and just standing feet about hips distance. Good. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your wrists. Feel your your toes on the floor. Can move them around a little bit. Okay. Inhale, stand tall, and try to line up the back of your head with your upper back. Exhaling there and inhaling. Letting your hips be in neutral, your pelvis be in neutral, so you're not pushing your hips forward. Okay, let's just start to rock on the feet a little bit. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, rock back on the heels and repeat. And get your eyes focused on one spot out in front of you. Good, and then bringing the feet down, we'll now trace the edge of one of your feet all around. Let your knee move, let your hip move. Just getting the ankles a little more warmed up here. And now reverse directions. Good. Then stand on both feet before switching sides. Just notice the two. Good. And then let's do the second one. And then reverse. Good. And now standing on both feet again, just noticing, following your breath in, standing tall and out. All right, we're gonna find a wall. We're gonna do a little more with the neck. You'll need a block, but you'll also, I know you won't all be able to see me, so you might have to be coming back and looking, or if the computer is mobile, taking it there. In the first part, we won't need the block. Okay, so you're just gonna stand with your back against the wall, we're gonna be taking the head to the wall. So you need enough wall space so that your head can get there too. Okay. Now, the distance your feet are from the wall is just going to depend on your body proportions, right? It just kind of depends. What we'll try to do is we'll try to get close enough to the wall so that your upper back might be able to touch the wall as well as the back of your head. Okay, so what I have here is my, part of my back's not touching the wall. I've got the curves in my back. Okay. I'm just noticing, what your alignment is like. Some people, it might feel fine to be able to bring the back of the head back. It might feel weird. You might not be able to do it. So some people have a very forward head and they might not even be able to get that back there because of the way your upper back is right now. Okay, so just working on it. Okay, and then relax. Okay. And then come back again. And this time, we're going to try to make that double chin. So you're going to try to tuck the chin down and push the back of the head in the wall. If it feels better, or if you feel like you just need a little space, you could always put your hands behind your head, but that might not work for everybody's shoulders. Keep breathing. Okay. Now, to shake that out a little bit, and this is where you'll use a block. And if you're far away, you could come and look first so that you know what we're gonna do. So what I'm gonna do is take the short end of the block against my head. Now, if you don't have a block, I'm not really sure how you can adapt this, so you might have to do something else during this time, okay? So I'm gonna put the side of the block against my temple like this. Not really the temple, but the bones of my head, but around where the temple is, okay? And I'm gonna be starting like this, and I'm going to put enough pressure so the block doesn't fall. And I'm gonna keep that pressure so I don't, did you see how I turned my body, you guys? I just turned. So I started here, right? With the side of my head against the wall. And then I slowly turned so that now my chest is facing the wall. And then, and I'll talk you guys through this, I'm going to slowly turn so my back is facing the wall without letting the block fall. Okay, so this is working on neck strength and mobility. All right, so let's give it a try. You can start with whichever side works for you, okay? I mean, just pick a side is what I mean. And you're gonna put it, so my block is in front of my ear and on the side of my skull, okay? And I'm gonna breathe, I'm gonna keep that block there. I'm gonna very slowly start stepping and shifting my feet without letting the block fall so that my chest starts to face the wall. Chest and hips, okay? And I'm not gonna go into any pain, so if you have pain in your neck, go slowly and only as far as you can, exploring this. Keep breathing. And then I'm going to very slowly turn. I'll pass through the center, where I started. And then I will start to shift my chest and my hips so that they are facing away from the wall. They're opposite from the wall. And you've got to keep pressing. So your arms are down. You're just pressing the head to make this happen. If you have to reach up and grab it, just reset it and don't go as far. And then we'll come back to the start and release. Okay. All right. And then we'll try the other side. So then you'll start with the other side of your head. So I'm facing the opposite way. Okay. You're straight up and down, right? So head over shoulders, over hips, over feet. And then pressure into the block. And I'm very slowly going to turn so that my chest and my hips face the wall. I'm breathing, keeping that counter pressure. And then I'm very slowly going to turn back through the starting point. And now, so that my chest and my hips face away from the wall. If I can go that far, right? You might not be able to go that far if you have some neck stuff. Good. Just notice how that all feels. And then coming back to the center. We'll take away your block. Good. And then just roll the shoulders up. And exhale, take them down your back, stand tall. Notice how you feel. All right, this next one you'll be facing the wall. So you can watch me first if you'd like. And some of you have done this one with me before. So in this one, my elbows, so watch me do the whole thing first. Okay, so my elbows will be just, this would be straight ahead. They're just a tiny bit higher than my shoulders, all right? And what I'm going, and my feet are just below my shoulders, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press my elbows into the wall, like I'm protracting my shoulder blades, as though I had like $100 bill below each elbow and I didn't want to lose it. So I'm going to work that really hard. And then the next step, I'm going to step my feet wider. Feels a little better. I'm going to soften my knees and see how I tucked my tail under. And then I'm going to press into the wall more. I'm going to let my upper back round and feel like I'm trying to draw my chest in toward the center of the room while still keeping that pressure. And it's a lot of work for the whole stabilization of the rotator cuff, which can also help with neck stuff. So I'll talk you through it, but I know many of you might have to face away from me. So I wanted you to get a visual. All right, so whenever you're ready, you're gonna stand in front of the wall and bring the elbows up to shoulder height and then maybe like a half an inch or an inch taller than that if that feels okay. And this is actually good for shoulder injuries, okay? Much better than, depending on the type of shoulder injury, but it's going to be very low weight and it's just to strengthen the rotator cuff, okay? So as long as you can be here with your elbows on the wall without pain, then you can do this, okay? If that's painful, then stop, of course. Okay, see some of you with your hands together, you do not want your hands together. So you're going to have your hands as wide as your elbows if you're able to do that without pain. And let's see, Janet, your elbows are a little high. Just a tiny bit lower and then a little closer together if you can. If you can. That's it, a little closer. Good. Okay, and then Carol Marie, you're just going to take care of yourself there, okay? And then press into the wall so you protract your shoulder blades. So it feels like you're widening them. And imagine that $100 bill below each elbow, and you don't want to lose it. You don't want it to slip away. So you're really pressing strongly into the elbows. And you're right, I already feel a lot of work happening in my shoulders, okay? I'm looking between where my inner wrists are on the wall. And then from here, I'm putting a little bend in my knees. I might need to adjust where my feet are. I'm going to tuck my tail under like a plank pose, okay? And I'm going to round my upper back a little bit. That might be different than a plank pose, okay? Like I'm drawing my front ribs toward my back ribs. And I'm still keeping that $100 bill. My shoulders are working really hard here. And then release. All right, just let your arms come down, kind of shake them out. Could you guys feel that work happening? Yeah? Okay, let's do it one more time. Okay, and Carol Marie, you just do what you can. Okay, if it hurts, do something else. You can do shoulder rolls, you can work on balance even now, and we'll come back to more in a moment, okay? So if this bothers you because of shoulder injuries, please listen to your body. You're gonna take your elbows. The idea is that your elbows are not any wider than your shoulders. That may be impossible for your body. You just have to check it out, okay? And then maybe a ½ inch higher than your shoulders. I'm gonna press them in. Okay, remember that $100 bill, okay? Protracting the shoulder blades. Feel that work happening. A little softness in the knees, mine are bent a little. Okay, I'm gonna tuck my tail under. And then I'm going to engage the core, moving my ribs, front ribs back toward back ribs toward center of room. Keep breathing. And release. Good, just kind of shake it out. Can step away from the wall now, okay? So we'll come back just to your spot on your floor. All right, and shake it out a little bit. Maybe inhale, roll the shoulders up. Exhale, take them down your back and do that again. All right, so now we're gonna find some objects. No, I know I didn't tell you this in the beginning because I'm just trying to adapt to what you guys that are here live needed. So I didn't have this planned out, but what you need to get are some objects. So for example, to step over and on. And we're gonna work on balance and agility, all right? So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a folded up blanket. I'm going to use a block on any height, but it could be anything you have in your house. I'm going to use a pillow, okay? In my case, it's a bolster. Okay, and then I'm going to use another one. So maybe 4 objects, okay? They can be tall, they can be low. This one I'm going to step on. Okay, so some of these objects we're going to step onto, and some of these objects we're going to step over. That makes sense? So you want like a variety of things. So like for example, and you guys can keep setting up so you can kind of see what we're gonna do so you get an idea. And if you're watching this on the recording, you can always pause. So like for example, I'm gonna step on my blanket, right? And then go over, and then I'm gonna go over my block. For me, to make it challenging, I need something taller, but not everybody will. And then I'll be taking a little trip over here, right? And I'm going to go, to make this hard for myself, I'm going to go a really big step, okay? But you don't have to go that long, okay? And over that one. And then on this pillow here that I have, I'm going to be stepping on that pillow and around. And now I'm back to the start, okay? So just find yourself a little obstacle course. In fact, to make this more challenging for myself, so you have to see what your own challenge needs are, okay? And just make it just hard enough for you where you're like, okay, that could be a hard one and maybe not. And then whenever you're ready, we're gonna try not to hang our heads. We're gonna look at what we're doing. It's not like we're gonna try to not look, but try to pick a spot out in front where you can still have your alignment pretty good. Okay, pretty aligned. What I mean is, so you're not like this, right? Going along. You're gonna try to be tall, but you can still see everything. And if your balance is really iffy, you might need to make this really easy, okay? And do something like walk the line, like one edge on the mat of your, one edge of your foot on the mat, one edge off. And you can find those in we have a lot of balance practices in the video library. All right, so we're gonna start. Notice what foot you're gonna start with, okay? And either step over or onto your first object, okay, whatever it is for you. So for me, I'm stepping on, and then I'm going to step off and onto the other side of it, okay? I'm going to use that same foot, leg, to now step over or onto my next object. For me, it's over, okay? I'm going to go over with that same leg and around, okay? And then go into your next object. You're going to use that same leg to go over or onto this next object. And then that same leg again over or onto your next object. Okay. Now you can either reverse directions or you can just start with the other foot in the same direction. Okay. So back to object one, I'm going to step over or onto it with the opposite leg. Okay. Then object two, over or onto that same leg you're doing this time. Okay. And when you get ready, object three, using that same leg, over or onto. And your final object, over or onto, same leg. Good, because coming back to the floor and standing tall. All right, how'd it go? Go all right? You may need, so this is just a very short little obstacle course, right? This is just to show you what you can do on your own for some balance practice. You can set yourself up with all these objects in your room, make your obstacle course a little bit longer, and really practice these things, getting steady, breathing, not getting tight. Let's do it one more time. This time I'm going to switch legs, right? So I'm going to do one leg, then the next one I'm going to step with the opposite and keep going, okay? You can try that too if you want to. And I'm even going to change it up and walk on this crazy thing here. Oops, I did the same leg. Okay. All right, and whenever you finish up, pick one of your objects that you can practice standing on that's not a normal, that's not as hard as the floor. That's not as firm as the floor is what I mean. So it's more challenging, okay? So like for example, I'm gonna really challenge myself for this one and stand on this thing. You could stand on a folded blanket, right? Just a little different than the floor, right? So choose your own challenge, and all we're gonna do is stand. That's all we're gonna do, is just stand, okay? So you're gonna get both feet on your pillow or your blanket or anything like that, and just stand there. Breathe. Now, if you think you could try to balance on this object, you can stay on your same object. If you think that no, it's too dangerous to balance on your current object, come down. So if like this were too challenging for me, I would come down and get myself set up with something less challenging but still soft. Okay, we're gonna try a one-legged balance. Again, choose your own difficulty level here. For me, I know this is going to be safe, but it might be challenging. We'll see. Okay? All right, and when you're ready, get a focal point and breathe. Then start to shift your weight a little more to one leg, still standing tall, and see if you can either lift part or all of the other foot off. You can use any arm position. Let's see, and then step down. Good. Let's try the other side. I know I said any arm position, but really what I mean is any solid arm position. Let's not do like a balancing pole, like a trapeze artist. Instead, arms down, you could take arms up, but staying centered, okay? So there's not a lot of throwing of the limbs around, unless you're doing that on purpose to make it harder for yourself. And then it's okay to throw your limbs around, like you're trying to make it more challenging, okay? All right, good, keep breathing. Good job, everybody. Good, and then step down whenever you're ready. Come onto the firmness of the ground, the solid ground, and we'll try to balance here, okay? So now you're on solid ground. Gonna inhale, stand tall, find yourself a focal point, and exhale, lifting one leg off the floor. It could be tree pose, it could just be foot off floor, okay? And now let's do some yoga arm positions. So either palms in front of chest or up toward the ceiling, if you prefer. Keep breathing. Coming down whenever you're ready. And we'll try the second side, okay? Now inhale, stand tall. Exhale, second side. And coming down whenever you're ready. Good, just kind of shake it out. Let's step the feet about as wide as the shoulders, arms at sides, little side bend. Leaning to one side and back up, just going slowly, noticing how far you want to go. Good. And then with this same width, let's do some swing and twist, letting the arms flop around, looking behind you. All right, let's bring it back to the center. You can take a moment just to get the objects out of your way. Some of you will need a chair for the next piece, and a lot of you won't. Okay, so we're going to talk about some neck alignment in squatting, okay? So in a body weight squat, so if your knees are cranky and you don't think they have the strength, or your thighs don't have the strength to squat, what you can be doing instead are sit to stands. So you can start in a chair, right? And then as you'll be coming up off the chair and then back down. Okay, so that's an option too, all right? I'm gonna show it without the chair. So ideally, we'd be keeping our neck in alignment so that when I squat down, when I inhale, I'm gonna go down, right? My neck, so my eyes are now looking diagonally in front, and then I'm gonna exhale, come back up. They're still looking in front. So rather than like this, do you see the difference? Okay, so we're just gonna build some awareness over this in your squat. Now, another thing I wanna show you about a squat And I don't know that any of you are doing this. I'm not seeing it at the moment, but I can't see all of you. So sometimes people, to get out of knee bending, they hinge more, which is a deadlift motion like this. So instead, we want to make sure we're bending the knees, elevator down. The hips do hinge, right? Or else you wouldn't be able to come down. You'd be like this. They'd be coming forward, right? So just bending the knees and letting the hinge follow, okay? So we'll inhale here and exhale. Then let's inhale, go down into your squat, any depth, keeping knees as wide as feet, and exhale, come back up. And then be aware of your neck. So inhale down, I'm a little more aware of my neck now, and exhale up. Down and exhale up. Do a few more if it feels okay. Again, you can go any amount. And be aware of that neck, you guys. So chin is not going forward like this. And you can do this in the chair as well. Come into the chair. You stand, keeping knees as wide, all right? And my neck is still following. All right, and then next time you come down to the chair, or if you're using a chair, come down to the chair. If you're not, just have a seat in your chair. Okay. All right, so from here, you're sitting up tall if you can. Bringing the back of head in line with your upper back. Take a breath in and a breath out. Good, inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to turn your head to the right and stay there for a moment, noticing the amount of tension, if any, or pain. Back off if there's pain. And then look as far as you can with your eyes around and just see what object you can see over there. Okay, we're going to remember that. And then come back to center. And now from here, you're going to put your hands on your belly and we're going to turn. So everything else is going to stay lined up, head with sternum. So I'm not going to do this again. Instead, I'm going to turn from my belly. All right, 5 times. So I'm going to inhale, exhale, the belly turns, but do you see how my chin is staying in line with my sternum? And back to center. And then exhale again and back to center. It's not going to be too far, right? There's not a ton of mobility in the twisting here. In fact, I'm trying to do it with my legs and all sorts of things to make myself go further. Okay, and back to center. Okay, now we're going to turn leading with the chest. So you can put your hands there. You can also, to make sure your head doesn't move alone, you could put your hands kind of to hold the bottom of your cheek. So now I'm going to turn from my chest. My belly will turn too, just not the head. Exhale, turn. Inhale, center. Exhale, turn. Inhale, center. About 5 times. Okay, back to center. Okay, now I'm going to turn the head 5 times without the rest of the body. Okay, so I'm going to exhale, turn, inhale, center. Just go slowly, you don't have to go quickly. Okay, and then we're going to stay in the center and just take the eyes to look as though they were turning and back to the center without moving anything else. So just the eyes go to the side and back to center. Okay, now we're going to take just the head around and hold it. And then look with your eyes. And you might notice if there's any change, if you could either see further or if there's less tightness or tension. and then come back to center. There may and there may not. This is a neuromuscular activity for the neck rotation. So for me, I couldn't really see any further. It was a little less blurry in my distance, but I had a lot less tightness on that side of my neck, and I've got a lot of tightness. Okay, so we're gonna do the second side. First, you're gonna turn to the second side with just the head and look around as far as you can with your eyes and just notice how everything feels. Kind of imprint that so you remember, and then come back to the center. And we're gonna turn from the belly, right? So everything else is gonna stay lined up 5 times. You can turn on the exhale. Whoops, I already moved my head. It's hard not to move your head, so you have to keep reminding yourself everything else is staying the same. So you're not turning your head. Just following the rest of your body. So it does move, right? But it follows the rest of the body. Okay, now from the chest, this one I like to keep my head still like this. So now the chest is turning, and of course it's taking the head with us. You're noticing your range there. Okay, and then you can release whenever you're done with those repetitions and do just the head repetitions, so 5 or so. And then when you're done with that, it'll be just the eyes. So everything stays facing forward, just the eyes look like they're trying to go to that side and back. And then you can recheck, looking to that side with just the head, and then also the eyes looking around. And that one worked a little better for me. And back to the center. So it may or may not change anything for you. It really depends on, what's triggering tightness or lack of mobility in your neck. And one of the things that can be doing this is kind of this neuromuscular firing, and you're training the whole spine to kind of be holding up the neck instead of just the muscles of the neck. All right, so we're gonna come down to the floor now, and you won't need your strap after all. If you want to relax in your chair, of course you always can. For me, I wanna get down to the floor. I know we're already at time, but you can get down there in the way that works best for your body. Give your knees a hug, or do any last movements or poses, because we didn't do anything on our back today. So if there's anything that you wanted to do that you know from all of our sessions, please feel free to do those now. And if you're still doing some finishing postures, feel free to stay with them, okay? If you're ready to just tune in and practice letting go, you can do that whenever you're ready, all right? I will talk you into it, and then I'll leave you be. But for more balanced practice, there's so many short and long videos in the video library. Do check those out, because we got all sorts of them on there. And for neck, I'm going to take a sigh or two when you're ready to be still. And just notice how your whole body feels. kind of let go of as much effort as you can. Just attempting to spread your awareness through your entire body.